Now let's solve the following problem. You've just bought a brand new Toyota for $25,000. You believe that it will be losing 10% of its value each year. The question is, how much will your Toyota be worth after 4 years? Let's start with the following timeline. This is year 0, which is today, and you just paid $25,000 for your brand new car. 4 years from now, let's mark it as year 4, we need to figure out how much the car will be worth, right? So what is the math that we need to do here? We take the initial amount, the principal, 25,000, we multiply it by 1 plus the interest rate raised to some power, right? There is a trick in this problem. The first trick is we're not really dealing with the same kind of time value of money problem that involves earning interest over some original amount. Here it's buying a car and seeing how much value is lost. So the equivalent of the interest rate is the 10% value loss every year. That's the first thing. The second thing here is we are talking about the car losing value rather than gaining value. And so what would that mean in our formula? It means that when we have 1 plus the interest rate, we should now put 1 minus 10% or 0.1. So let me highlight it in yellow. 1 minus the 10% loss of value. And then we raise it to the power 4 for 4 years. And this is what we need to calculate. So I put the question mark at the end. Okay? Let's bring the financial calculator. Turn it on. $25,000 is the present value because this is our starting amount. You press 25,000. Then the right thing to do is set it to a negative value. The only reason for that is so that when you get your answer at the end of year 4, it's displayed with the right sign, the positive sign. That's really the only reason. So to do that, I press the plus/minus button on the bottom of the calculator. Then I press the present value button, PV. 25,000 is saved with a negative sign as our present value. Then I press 4 for the number of years, 4, and then number of time periods, button N. Then I press 10 for the change in the car value, but make sure you enter this number with a negative sign, which is normally what we do not do when we talk about money invested somewhere and earning some interest. So to do that, you press 10, then the plus minus button, the same one we press to change the value of $25,000 to negative. The display now shows a small negative sign, the minus sign. Then save it as your interest rate, IY, which is the equivalent of the loss in value of the car every year. We entered 25,000, we entered negative 10% as the change in value, we entered 4 for the number of years. Now press compute future value. $16,402.50. $16,402.50, and this is our answer.